Good evening. Welcome, 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 welcome. Sorry for the late start, folks. I don't know what happened to the first 5:30 stream I created. I had a stream for 5:30. I had a stream to go online on time, but I don't know, for some reason there was something wrong with that video feed, so I had to go ahead and create the other one, hence why we are starting 20 minutes later. Hello, Chantel. So nonetheless, we deal with these issues, work it out. We got it sorted out. So I'm here. I am just waiting on one of our avid viewers and contributors, Deborah Sweeting. We're supposed to be discussing a specific type of parenting that she came across and she wanted to talk about. So just waiting for her to get her feed sorted out. She tried to join just a little while ago, but I guess it was some internet issues. And so it didn't stay up and her feed dropped. So soon as she's joined, we can get that conversation started. But in the meantime, in between time, I ask that you guys please go ahead and share the video. As we always do, we ask you guys to share it. It doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't take long. It takes less than a second to just hit that share button. Also, if you have some people that you want to tag, go ahead and tag them in the video so we can get as many views as possible, because we're going to be discussing a serious issue, I think, which is at the core of our problems in this country, the Bahamas, which is parenting. Hey, Emil, hopefully I pronounced your name correctly. See you put up the peace sign. Peace. Hello, Nadia. So Nadia is here. Emil is here. Sean is here. Chantel is here. Bobby is here. Welcome, guys. Go ahead and hit that share button if you would be so kind. Greatly appreciate it. And I want to shout out one of our supporters. Actually made a donation last week, financial donation, pretty substantial. Also, it was. I'm very grateful for it. And she said, she didn't know that we had a section where you could donate. So I guess I do need to listen to Chrissy and promote it more. Chrissy always pushing me to promote it and continue to ask. And for those that know me, knows that I don't like to ask people for anything. I don't like to feel like I asking or begging or just have my hand out to people. So I don't really promote it much. But she always tells me to go ahead and promote it. And it paid off last week. So I'm going to go ahead and promote it. GoUnderTheRug.com is the website. Not only do we have all of the video shows up there via our YouTube page, but you can also donate if you have, a couple dollars you want to give to support the movement, to help us to get faster internet so we don't continue to have these issues, and also to support a location for the studio so that we can give you better quality shows. We can get more guests to come in, because I'm currently doing it from home. And so we'd like to have a location where we can have actual guests come in. And so I just want to say that you can go ahead to GoUnderTheRug.com. There's a donate section where it's very easy. You can donate via PayPal, and we would greatly appreciate it. Hey, Deb. Can you hear me? Lord, Deb frozen again. My goodness, what's happening here? Hello? What is going on? Deb, I don't know if it's our internet or your internet, but somebody's internet ain't percolating correctly, because right now this looks like a portrait picture of you, and I'm guessing that's your handsome son in the background, but we can't hear anything. So let me just put that one down. Hopefully we can get that sorted out. So yeah, GoUnderTheRug.com is the website. You can donate if you want to. Also, the shows are there. Please go ahead and follow our YouTube page, subscribe to the channel, our YouTube channel. We try to put up all the videos as soon as possible. When I get some time, I try to upload them afterwards. And Andrew is saying Bahamian time. No worries. Politicians use it all the time. Listen, Andrew, I had the show on time. I had a 5:30 show, and for some reason, it was not allowing me to go live. So I had to go back, create a whole new stream. Create a whole new stream. And so I had to come back at 5:50, which is this stream, and this one is working now. So these things happen. You have issues, you encounter issues, but you fix them and you move forward. That's what we do. I see Deborah is messaging me here. Do you want me to hang up and try again? Okay, so I guess she's going to hang up and try again. But we're going to be talking about parenting styles. And you know how you guys go in the Bahamas. Your parenting style is cut up, row, and your child ain't supposed to say nothing, sit in the corner, sit small. You have no rights. That's how we've been parenting in the Bahamas for a very long time, and I don't think it's really getting us that far. I think it's gotten us to this place where we are now, where we see so much anger, so much frustration, we see so much violence. I think that's what has led us to this position we are now in the Bahamas. And so we're just going to discuss different parenting styles. I know a lot of y'all may not like to hear that because y'all dead set in y'all ways and y'all ain't trying to change, but we do have some viewers. I have confidence that we have viewers that are open to, new parenting styles, new strategies, new ways to do things. Some open-minded folks. Not everyone in the Bahamas is closed-minded and old-fashioned and traditional. And so Deborah hit me up with, she had an interesting parenting style that she's been studying, and I think it's called attachment parenting. And so hopefully she'll get her internet sorted out so she can join and we can discuss that more deeply. But I wanted to touch on something while we wait on Deb. Let me touch on something that bothered me, that really bothered me earlier when I heard it on the news. And that's, I don't know if you guys remember, but I think the young man's name is Adonai. He was the Doris Johnson student that was brutally stabbed right at broad daylight on the streets, right on Prince Charles Drive after school. And died as a result. And I heard today on the news that the person that was up for manslaughter that did the stabbing, his case got through out, so he's scot-free, actually scot-free. And it was because of some technicalities, like I think some evidence that should not have been admitted, or some technicality that the lawyer found with the prosecution. And I think this kind of thing unfortunately happens all the time, where small minor details or people not doing what they're supposed to do in terms of submitting evidence or dealing with witnesses, just small things that cause people to get off scot-free. And I'm curious to know what you guys think about that. What do you guys think should have happened in that case? Because I'm going to be honest, it doesn't sit well with me. I'm not really happy with that outcome because I feel he basically got away with murder. You know what I mean? You stab a young man in broad daylight, kill him, take his life, and you get to walk scot-free. Like that really bothered me. Okay, I see Deborah is back. So you could chime in on that, but let's hopefully Deborah connection is stable and she stays on with us this time. Deb. Hello. My goodness. Nope. Hello. Barely. You sound like Optimus Prime right now. You sound like a transformer. It's very mechanic and it cutting in and out. So clearly the connection for some reason isn't strong enough. I don't know. I don't know if perhaps, I don't know where you are right now. It seems as though you're in a vehicle. I don't know if there's somewhere you can go where your signal may be a bit stronger, but for where you are at the moment, it is not, it doesn't. Okay, yeah. Let's see if you can get a better connection and let's try it again. Okay, so yeah, back to the situation. I see Andrew is saying, yup, he was released. Sean says, that garbage. I don't want even hear about that. Sad situation all around. Andrew says, I mean, to be honest, Sean, I understand, you don't want to hear about it, but these kinds of things unfortunately happen in this country on a regular basis. Too many people get off scot-free just because of, police mishandle evidence or didn't submit the right documents, or like simple technicalities cause these things to happen on a regular basis. And this is what causes a lot of the frustration that we experience. Like people feel like they can never get justice in this country because these simple technicalities. I mean, people are literally getting away scot-free with murder because of these simple things. You can't submit the documents properly, or you're considered to be tampering with witnesses, or just simple law foolishness that allow people to get off. And I can't stand it. Like this is a complete injustice, and it was very upsetting. And I was very disturbed when I heard it earlier. And I just can't believe that we are still in this place where people can literally get away with murder simply because of these kinds of things. And so that was very disturbing to me. And I also wanted to discuss for a little bit a situation that my good friend went through recently. But we've decided that she has something to do this evening. So we decided that what she's going to do is we're going to do a whole show next week dedicated to it. And that's going to be racism in the Bahamas. A lot of Bahamians are racist, but they don't want to admit it. A lot of y'all very extremely racist, and y'all know my position. Y'all know me and Chrissy always round on this topic. My position is I believe everybody is a little bit racist. If you're raised in this society, you have to be racist to some degree, but it's a spectrum, and I think the important thing is where you land on that spectrum, because the closer you get to the extreme end, the more problematic it becomes. So we're gonna dive into that topic a little bit later, but I also wanted to get to the parenting aspect of it, because she had a bad experience with her son at a camp, and he experienced some issues with some of the kids that were attending the camp, and so unfortunately, she won't be able to join us on this show, but I want to touch on it a little bit. And I want to say that when it comes to parenting, we have an issue when it comes to people raising kids. Hey, legal. We have a problem with people raising kids because they're not fit to raise kids. And me and Chrissy discuss it all the time. And it's so funny. It's funny and bad that the result of the one thing that humans like to do the most, which is juice. You know, y'all Bahamians like the juice. Y'all like to have sex. Y'all don't like to wear a condom. Y'all like the raw dog. And unfortunately, the result of that is to make a whole nother human being. And sad to say, but a lot of people in the Bahamas are not fit to be parents, or not prepared to be parents. And in a lot of cases, it's not necessarily their fault, because they come from broken homes themselves. They never had any real examples of good parenting growing up themselves, because I think we still use a lot of archaic parenting methods in this country, and it's so bad that it's gotten to the point where it's celebrated. Unfortunately, a lot of people celebrate, and you hear it all the time when you hear people speak about their experiences growing up, all of the abuse that they took. And it's like they speak about it like they celebrate it, like they praise it. Like, oh, I remember the good old days when I used to get kicked in my mouth and punched in my teeth. And boy, if I had to do this, my mom would have do this to me. And it's almost like a celebratory tone when people speak about it, and they don't realize that it's abuse, straight up abuse. You know what I mean? And Black Velvet is saying, hi, Nesties. Andrew is saying, racist and xenophobic, homophobic. That would be a good show. Yes, that's next week. Next week, Andrew, we're going to do that show with Patrina Farkason. We're going to do that about racism, because, listen, plenty of y'all Bahamians, they're dead racist in this country, boy. Trust me. And y'all don't even realize it. And Kendora is saying, tell us how you really feel. But, you know, that's all I know how to do, Kendora. I can tell you how I feel. I can give you my opinion. I mean, some people may like it, some people may not. Don't matter to me. That's how I feel. I mean, if you have a different opinion, I'm always open to hear it. So you could feel free to share your opinion, whether you type it or whether you join the show. Legally, it said, you said it right. Plenty ain't fit. That's right. A lot of people ain't fit to be parents. But like I say, unfortunately, the result of having sex, which is the one thing that we all enjoy. I don't know nobody who don't like to have sex. The one thing we enjoy the most, some of us a little bit too much. The result of that is to make a whole human being. And to be honest, a lot of us aren't ready for that when it happens. Black Velvet says processes must change when emergencies occur. I agree. Emil say raw dog. Well, you know, that's what we call it, Emil. How you want me to say it? You just want me to say with no condom? Bahamians like the raw dog. You know how it is? It's like, and you know, some guys, I actually hear some women say, listen, man, I allergic to latex. Knowing damn well they ain't allergic to no friggin' latex, but they just don't want to use no condom. And that's a dangerous game that we play in this town too, you know, not just because of, you know, having unwanted children, but of course all of the diseases that are going around and people just playing with people's lives, literally playing with people's lives. Black Velvet says, heading on the road, I guess she means I safe driving, no texting. No, Black Velvet, please don't text and drive. We don't want you to do that. Don't text and drive. I mean, you might still listen, but you may not be able to comment. So if so, you could put on the Bluetooth or the aux cord, plug it in, whatever you have, so you could still listen to the show. But we don't want you to text and drive. So if we see a comment, we know you're driving, we can scold you. Even though I ain't gonna lie, I text and drive live it myself. I try to stop doing it, but boy, listen, when you're running business and customers messaging you, I do my best to not answer. I try to wait till I hit a stop light or something, but you know, I guilty, so I can't judge nobody on when it comes to that. Bobby says, hi, Greg. Hey, Bobby. Trina says, good point. And Bobby also says, real talk. So let's talk while we're on Deborah. Let's what is this? Travares says, allergic to scents must be. And so let's discuss some parenting styles. And for those that have been following me over the years, from way back to when I started doing reality check with Chrissy Love on Guardian Radio years ago, up until this point, you know that my whole stance has been that I don't agree with hitting children as a form of discipline and as a form of parenting. And that's been my stance. That's been my cause. That's been my number one passion when it comes to issues in the Bahamas for years now. And I continue to maintain that position. And I continue to speak out against the act. And, you know, a lot of people, when they hear me speak, they get defensive. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people cannot compartmentalize. They can't separate issues. And so when they hear you criticizing beating children, they think it's a direct attack on them and their character and their personality and they ma and they Annie and Mommy and whoever else believe in it. When that's not the case. I try to say as much as possible. I am hard on the issue, but not the person. You understand? So I'm hard on the issue of hitting children. I don't agree with that. I'm not saying that you are a bad person if it's something that you do or you subscribe to. I'm not saying you're a bad person. I'm just saying that you are using a bad act with good intent. I know your intent is good because you want the best for your children, of course, right? But the act itself is a bad act. And that's always been my stance. So I'm not judging you as a person or calling you a bad person. I'm just saying hitting smaller people, hitting people smaller than you, people you love, people you have made, people you dedicate your life to protecting. It's just backwards that you would be the one inflicting the abuse upon them. So that's always been my position for years. And so my parental style has been more of treating your children as humans. They are small human beings and preparing them for life. Because unfortunately, in this society, we don't prepare our children for real life. We try to hide them from things. We try to shelter them from things. We try to block off everything from them. You know what I mean? You want to restrict access to things. You don't want to expose them to things. And I believe in the opposite. I believe you should expose them reasonably, not, straight up just extreme exposure, but you don't want to be fake or false or have them in a bubble and pretend as though certain things don't exist. You want to expose them to certain things, but you always want to explain to them and be honest with them and let them know exactly how things are and the way this world works. Because when they get in the real world, that's why so much of these children is bust loose. Especially, you see, the common saying in the Bahamas, pastors' children usually be the worst children because they so restricted their whole lives. When they bust out in the real world and their friends expose them to certain things, they don't know how to handle it. They don't know what to do. Their parents never prepared them for it. And so they learn it from their friends who probably weren't guided properly themselves. And so I just believe in exposing your children as much as possible and explaining to them. Explain to them in a language that they understand in a way that they will understand. Because you do have to prepare your children for life, or else, listen, society will. And buddy, you don't want society to prepare them. You want to be the one to prepare them. Kendora says, I believe it's different parenting styles, and it's up to parents to find out and use the style that is most beneficial, effective, and positive for them. I agree with you completely, Kendora. That's my complete stance. I agree with you completely. And Bobby is also saying agree. Kendora says, them being parent and child. Brandon is saying wholeheartedly agree. Sean is saying, don't call that station name. Why not, man? Sean, listen, Sean, here's the thing. I don't believe in them kind of, oh, no, don't say that name. Listen to me. It is what it is. Me not saying it is not going to be like we don't know what it is, where it is, or how it exists, or the capacity in which it exists in. You could feel a way about a certain organization. If you choose not to mention them, that's on you. But you know what I mean? At the end of the day, they're still an organization, still operating as a news media company, a major one of the major ones. And so me not saying it ain't gonna take nothing away from them. Sean says some of them is need a good cut though, Greg. But I don't agree with you, Sean. I just don't agree. Like, give me what circumstance is it justifiable to give a child, as you would call it, a good cut it? Let me know. And also, guys, if you have me as a friend on Facebook, since we having issues with Deborah's connection, if you want to join me in the conversation, send me a message right now on Facebook Messenger. I can send you the link, and then you could join the show, and I could talk to you. You could talk to me. We could have a discussion. You know what I mean? Sean, you tune in all the time, which I appreciate. If you want to jump on and join the show, send me a Facebook message, and I can send you the link. That goes for anybody tuning in right now. If you have something to say on the topic and you want to discuss, go ahead and shoot me a Facebook message. My name on Facebook is Gregory A. Colley II. So shoot me a Facebook message if you want to join the show, and we can discuss. Brandon is saying, no, people don't need a good cut up. They need to learn how to be functioning human beings and not act on negative emotions. I agree with you completely, 100%, Brandon. And Carlton is also saying he agrees. Emil say, boy, just today I had to think twice on hitting a 5-year-old, almost dropped the 55-inch TV. Good thing I catch it in time. And see, good thing you were able to restrain yourself, Emil. And that's great. Because, and I ain't gonna lie, I'm a parent. I have my daughter just turned 6 last month, and listen to me. It is extremely hard. It is frustrating at times. Look, at sometimes these kids do some things, and boy, it could yuck up your vexation, as we like to say here in the Bahamas, whatever that means. But I get it, Emil. I know sometimes you just want, act out on that anger, that rage you feel in that moment, but you have to always remind yourself this is a child who is just learning how this world works and functions. They are just learning, and we mess up too. I see parents all the time lash out on their kids and half kill them for spilling water or spilling juice, like the simplest things. And I ask myself, because I know I could be clumsy at times. I spill things sometimes. I don't freak out on myself. I don't slap myself. I don't hit myself. So why should I go ahead and freak out on a child for doing something that I'm not only capable of doing, but I do from time to time? You understand? So we are hypocrites in that aspect too. We jump on them for the smallest things, but we give ourselves a pass for doing the very same thing. And that's something that I don't agree with, but it's something that I see happen all the time. All the time in this country, I see it happen. Who else we have? Okay, so no more comments on that. But yeah, that's my position. If you guys have some other parenting styles, or are you open to at least considering this parenting style that I've adopted, let me know. If you completely disagree and you feel like you need to backhand slap or a cowboy slap your child every now and again to let them know you're in charge, let me know also. We could discuss it. And like I said, if you're on Facebook, go ahead and shoot me a message if you would like to join the discussion. I can send you the link for the show, because I don't know. It don't seem as though Deborah can get that internet situation sorted out. But hopefully we could at least get it, because I'm interested to hear about this this parenting style that she told me about earlier. It seems interesting, and it seems to fall in line with what I have subscribed to as of late. And so hopefully she can get that sorted out. But yeah, go ahead. You don't have to comment. You could show your face. You could actually speak on it. Hey Cooper, what's happening? Cooper say, hey fam. Sean says, if you slap yourself, we gonna have to go stand. Okay, let's see what Kendora's saying. This is a long one. Kendora says, I don't agree with you, Greg. What may work for John's child may not work for John's child. I have 2 brothers. My elder brother did not respond to spanking. He responded to taking away his things. I did not respond to taking away things, but I did respond to spanking. To me, the pain from spanking was the result of my negative actions, and it taught me a lot about actions and consequences. Well, Kendora, listen. You could okay, look like Deb is back. You could disagree all you want, but again, join. I wish, Dora, shoot me a message on Facebook. Let me send you the link. Okay, I see you moving. It looked like you get to a good spot.
I am. I'm almost there.
Awesome. You see the difference? I don't know where you were. I don't know if you was outside of one kind of military base or something, or Lex Luthor layer. I don't know what was happening there, but you couldn't get a good signal for nothing.
I know. I'm so sorry about that.
No problem. Don't worry. We have our issues in this country with internet also. So yeah, I see how you look nice and clear. Almost look HD right now. You're moving smooth. So we good to go now. Now, Deb, I was just prepping them on different parenting styles a while ago. Until you got there, we were just discussing, different ways to parent. And you've been researching this new form of parenting. And I just wanted to learn more about it. Can you tell us about the style? Tell us the name and what it's all about.
Sure. Let me just preface this from preface this saying that the reason that looked for a different way of parenting is I didn't like how I was parented.
Mm-hmm.
And but neither did I know what I wanted to, I just knew what I wanted to achieve. I didn't know how to do it.
Ah, okay.
So what I really wanted to find out is how do you because I really consider myself a poster child of a complete disastrous parenting.
Oh, really?
Yes. This
Tell us
is
a little bit
me.
about it. What was so disastrous about it? Tell us. Let's talk, man. Tell us about it.
It was very violent.
Mm-hmm.
And I just
Typical
heard,
behavior.
yeah, and I just heard the tail end of, I didn't get the name of I think it was a lady who said, spanking worked with them.
Yeah, yeah, Kindora. Yeah.
But what we don't realize is we are socialized to
Mm-hmm.
believe that violence is okay.
Yeah, I agree.
And I find this very interesting. Do you know that Africans do not hit their children? Real
Mm.
Africans.
Okay,
They,
interesting.
yeah. So it's very. They are now. They might hit you later,
Mm-hmm.
but but they realize all societies that understand anything with children realize that what happens to a child in the first 7 years
Mm-hmm.
makes or breaks them as a human being.
Mm.
We are I'm going to say this. I know Bahamians will think this is a funny thing to say because they're going to say I'm being all evolutionary. That's a different
Mm-hmm.
subject, but we are
Mm-hmm.
mammals.
Mm-hmm.
Mammals are people that feed their young with their mammary glands.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
All mammals need to be attached to an adult for 7 years in order for them to survive in the wild well.
Mm.
If that is interrupted, they basically don't make it. And we are no
Mm.
different.
Interesting. And I've heard I heard a lot of women say that, especially breastfeeding advocates. They say, how important breastfeeding is for the psyche of a person. You know what I mean? It affects you mentally, emotionally.
Absolutely.
I, so I've heard that before.
And here's the thing. I was a breastfeeding queen. Anybody who knew me, I was a lactation consultant. I was one of the first lactation consultants that was available to, as that wasn't underground.
Mm-hmm.
I will say now that my youngest son is 6.
Mm-hmm.
One of the downsides of breastfeeding is you lose your short-term memory.
Clearly, that's how you get out your child is.
It either goes out with the placenta or the nipples. I'm not the milk. I'm not sure which way, but it goes. So you need somebody kind there to remind you that you did used to have a memory.
Yeah.
What I will say in favor of women and breastfeeding, we are not a breastfeeding society anymore.
I agree.
And what I mean by that is when I decided to breastfeed my children, I had no idea what that was going to take out of me.
Mm.
If you do not have the support of your spouse and actually an entire village, because usually your spouse is out working.
Mm-hmm.
This has to be a multi-part series because I do not want to burden women who find breastfeeding overwhelming. But if you can give them anything, and do you know for the first, I think, 3 months, all the child can see is from whatever the distance from your breast to your face. That's it.
Oh, really?
That's when they develop trust.
Mm-hmm.
So let me see. I'm terrible at putting let me just put some facts out there first, and then we can go from there. So
Okay.
basically, human beings have their babies at 9 to 10 months because human beings, basically their pelvis is too small to keep them longer, but they are not finished gestating.
Mm.
So you carry them inside for 9 months. And do you know you need another 9 months for those babies to finish completely gestating?
Oh, really?
Most indigenous cultures, and what I mean is cultures that haven't been, I'm going to make up a word, technicalized, right? Do you know those babies never cry because someone is wearing that baby?
Mm,
Anywhere you go in the world where there's not technology, somebody is wearing the baby. And if you wear the baby, they finish gestating well. Their central nervous system stays calm
mm-hmm,
because the baby doesn't have, you don't have to go somewhere to see how the baby's doing. You feel it. Do you
mm-hmm,
know that in most indigenous countries, you will never hear a baby crying?
mm,
You do not put that baby down at least for 3 months. But it's not just the mother who wears the baby, the grandmother wears the baby, the
mm-hmm,
cousin wears the baby. So
mm-hmm.
basically, it's called attachment parenting.
Okay.
Basically, in those first 7 years, the kids learn to trust that when they have a need, it's going to be met. And in learning to trust their environment, they learn to trust themselves and life.
Mm,
It's only, I think, in the last, I don't know, I don't want to use the word evolution. I know that's a four-letter word in the Bahamas, but what I'm saying is, as human beings have come along, think about it. 100 years ago, almost everybody in the world lived in one room.
mm,
So the needs of that baby were met. They weren't in
mm-hmm.
another room. They weren't in a crib. They weren't in a something where you had to listen for them. As we became more prosperous and we got more things and bigger things, we put the baby somewhere else. That crib idea is that is not a that's a very modern idea because
Oh, so
babies
where the baby supposed to sleep, man, Deb?
in babies were you slept with your child. That's how they gestate.
But Deb, when they turn, when you get them sleeping in the bed for too long, they ain't want to leave when they start to get older, man.
But
I take me long to get my daughter out of my damn bed, man. I had to roll out.
well, guess what, Mike? No, but this is the downside. This is why has to be a sensible conversation. My husband said he's tired of camping. He calls it camping. That's
I would
called
have.
the family. That's called the
And
family bed.
it's children to sleep hard too, man. They just have their leg
Yeah,
all throw up across your nose and thing.
listen, I still got one in my ear, and I'm not saying I like it,
Uh-huh.
but let them sleep with some damn body.
They
I
gotta
don't
sleep.
care. They got to sleep. They are mammals. So let me tell you what. There is a book. Her name is Elizabeth Pantley. Write this
Mm-hmm.
down.
Mm-hmm.
Elizabeth Pantley.
Elizabeth Pantley, okay?
Yeah, I don't know if I could type it. I'm a little slow on all the. Let me write this down. Elizabeth Pantley,
Uh-huh.
Elizabeth. Pant Antel Pant Ley.
Mm-hmm.
Pant L. She
Let me
has a
Google
book called The No Lord and Auto Corrected. Now, why that think that has to do with
her.
okay, that's called the No
I see
Cry
her.
Sleep
Solution, yeah.
Solution. Now, here's the thing.
Oh, they got an audiobook. I could check it out then. Because
Exactly. Now, babies at least need to sleep with a human being for 3 months for sure. They are not done gestating.
mm-hmm.
Okay? It don't matter if it's daddy or it's mommy or it's Grammy. They got to sleep with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
They are meant to nurse for the first 3 months. That determines their immune system. Now, I completely understand if a woman can't nurse. This is not a,
Right,
it's a
right,
so I say to the mom, save yourself in retrospect. But
right.
anything you could give to that baby, if that baby's on somebody's skin, it won't cry. Now,
Mm.
what Elizabeth Pantley does in that book is she has a chart. This is what the kid needs at this age. This is what the kid, and there's a way to slowly get them out of your bed.
Mm.
And like I heard you said every child is different. Like, let me give you an
Right.
example. Y'all gonna love this one.
Mm-hmm.
My second child could feel ghosts. So she was in my bed for 8 damn years. Now you think I wanted her?
Hold on now, Deb. Hold on now. Hold on.
No, but listen. I either had to let her sleep with me or I had to get up every night. This child was, she could feel, she did.
Man,
Now,
listen, she would have been on her own if that was my child. I can tell you now. She would have been on her own.
but guess what? This girl, let me tell you something, young man.
Go ahead.
Let me tell you something. I'm a mother.
Right.
That's a different, you don't have a wound. You go and provide. But I tried to put do you know one day, this deep.
Uh-huh.
Yoga burn me. One day we were coming over Paradise Island Bridge and she says, Mommy, we just ran through an angel. What's the angel doing at the bottom of that bridge?
Hold on, what?
An angel. This child always could feel spirits. Now, if you don't think
Don't lie now, Deb. You ain't been slipping nothing in a bottle when you was feeding her.
Boy, I did
Oh,
slip something, but I
you
did
ain't
slip
been
something. Now
drinking,
that
you
you
was breastfeeding
mention
her. You was drinking when you was breastfeeding her. What spirit you been drinking when you was breastfeeding her?
it. If you don't think you have a spirit, what you think you breathe in? Anyway, that's another show. My point is that was very difficult for me.
Right.
Because my son, when I weaned him at 2 years, I breastfed both of them for 8 months. That was the stupidest thing I ever did in my life. Good for them. I went mad. I said to my husband, we're getting a goat for the next one. What I'm saying is the older I got, the more sensible I had to get because you're only as good as the mother's doing.
Right.
So I wouldn't recommend that to anything, but I was dumb as a box of shoes.
Well, that's the thing, and that's what I say all the time. You know, parenting. There's no real manual for parenting. We all are trying to do the best we can. We're all learning on the job. You know what I mean? We make adjustments as we go along, and hopefully we get better with each child that we have. If we have more than one child, you know what I mean?
Or talk to somebody sensible.
Right.
Let me just say this. I don't know how long this show's going to go.
Go ahead.
This is a very painful topic to talk about, and I feel like I need to take my shoes off.
Go ahead, man.
Because I'm on holy ground.
Go ahead.
I'm taking my boy, and guess what? Don't tell Chrissy because they ain't on point.
Well, Chrissy, don't mind Chrissy. Chrissy toes ain't on point neither because she got a couple corn and bunion on them too.
And the more kids you have, the less on point them toes are. That's another thing I can tell you. Let me tell you something, and I'm saying this with all due respect. The reason I believe that there's so much beating and hitting in the Black community is because they were beat and hit so much.
I agree. I've been saying that forever.
And I call that, hang on now, because I'm dyslexic. That's vertical violence. It was done to you and you pass it on. And I believe also because we've been so soaked in the bullshit Bible, not the real, let me tell you something. If Jesus came down right this very minute and saw what we were doing to children, child, please. The only thing you hit is a ball. We are not. If you want to go Christian, I could go Christian on you. We are made in God's image. We are not supposed to be hitting nobody. And all that stuff that people say in the scripture about, you better go check out the Hebrew because that.
Well, I was just gonna say, you know, the people always just try and pull that file, pull that voice. They say spare the rod, spoil the child. There, you know, they like to pull that one.
That's what the rod was meant for.
Go ahead.
The rod of the shepherd was meant to beat off anything that was going to hurt those sheep.
Okay.
You don't remember, David? He had that rod, and when the lion used to come for the sheep, he said, "You come.
Okay.
You hurt my child." And guess what the staff was?
What's that?
The staff, when the child went and did something foolish and fell off the cliff, they took the sheep and just hooked it back up and held it.
Interesting. See, I never heard that. I never heard that angle of it.
Hey, you bring that bad Bible to me, I can sort everything out with the bad Bible because you know what we've done? God made us in their image and we've returned the favor and done a horrible job. We made God in our own image, and we have so much violence in our history, and we're taking the violence done to us, and we are basically passing it on. And the only reason that we say that it's okay is because we haven't come to terms with the violence that happened to ourselves.
Exactly, and that's what I say, and I understand it, you know, there because it comes from and I say all the time, it's because it's a cognitive dissonance, right?
It's a cognitive.
It comes from people you love. So you have to try. You know this thing is wrong. You know this thing hurts. You know it's a bad thing, but it's coming from somebody you love. So you have to then try and justify and make sense of it. And this is why you hear these crazy reasons that people come up with because they have that dissonance, that cognitive dissonance is uncomfortable. And so they have to make themselves comfortable. And so they come up with these reasons and these justifications that don't make sense. You know what I mean?
None. And the thing is, I think it's very hard. Okay, so there's two kind of parents. There's sensible parents that basically, I feel like, I've seen two kind of parents. There's crazy, batshit crazy parents who shouldn't have children.
Yeah.
And then there's good parents who that's all they learned.
Exactly.
So,
I agree.
so what I'm saying is those parents, I think because their spirit is in the right place, they don't do as much harm as the batshit crazy parent. But
That's it.
it doesn't really make it right. I think it
Right.
would have been, but that's all they knew.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think if you don't go inside and get quiet in your intuition, you can look at that child and say, Lord, I'll hit another human being.
And
And
that's
guess
what I'm
what?
saying.
Let somebody
That's crazy. And Sam is saying, yeah, do it to an adult and you can be charged. You know, and we're so backwards. You know
and
what
no,
I mean?
now wait on this one. Wait on this one. Listen to
Uh-huh.
this. What you could do if say, okay, let me give an example. Say you
Mm-hmm.
did something very rude. You know, we're very rude as adults.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say somebody really annoyed you and you slammed the door in their face
Mm-hmm.
and walked out.
Mm-hmm.
What if I come up to you and slapped you because you did that? What you could do?
Big fight. That's big
Thank
fighting
you.
being done.
So the only thing you do when you hit a child is you make them angry or you make them afraid.
Mm-hmm.
Now I do believe you can train a child to be afraid, but where does fear leave you in life? Not only that, I truly believe if a child does not find their inner compass, and that is our job to help a child find their inner compass. And I'm not saying don't train them. I hate raising children. I don't feel like I can. I said, well,
Say what,
Lord,
Dad?
you can meet my children. I hate training. I don't have no sense. I'm not saying I have sense. Not a
Man,
piece
you
of
got
sense.
plenty sense, man. You got plenty sense,
No,
man.
all I know is I like my results.
Uh-huh.
I don't like parenting, but I love my result. I love
Yeah,
my children.
parenting is tough. It is
Mother,
tough. It's probably the worst. It's the worst and the most rewarding job that you could have. You know what
bro,
I mean?
but if you've had crazy ass parents, you feel crazy. You trying to burn that karma up, whatever. If you want to call it karma, or burn up that whatever, and just pray to
Yeah.
God, you could do something sensible because you come in. That's in your cell.
Hold on, Deb. I want to address a couple of things, but I see Big On is asking, what if it's your adult child? Listen, Big On, I know you're married. I use my boy. Your wife's an adult, right? You don't hit her, right? She's an adult, right? Don't hit nobody under no circumstance. I only believe
meant to hit no human beings. Can
no
you
human
imagine?
being is supposed to hit any human being. Now, self-defense is a different story. If somebody come hitting you, that's a different story.
Exactly.
But you're not supposed to be the one doing the hitting on the offense. Now, Kendora is making some comments, right? I didn't get to read all of them. She says police hit criminals all the time,
But
or
these
people
police
doing
are
it
so
wrong.
violent. These
But
police are
that's
so
the thing.
violent.
But that's the thing, Kendora. Police are not supposed to hit you. They're not supposed to. They're not supposed. Suppose you run the red light. What you can say now? You run the red light. The police roll up on you. They hit the little horn. They do tut tut. You know what I mean? Boop, boop, pull over the car, miss. And they just walk up to you and wet you one cowboy across your face in the red light. Would he be right? Police are not supposed to hit you. Now, they can use violence if someone is resisting and it's necessary. That's a different story. There are different levels to it. They have rules. There are rules for policing. But Kendora, please, if you want, let's do a show, Kendora, because clearly we are on different sides of the fence, and I want to dedicate a whole show to have a discussion on this issue. So, Kendora, when you're free, I think I'm doing the show with Trina next week. Week after next, if you're available, Kendora, please, let's do a show on this topic, and let's talk it out. Because clearly we are on different sides of the divide, and I think it'll make for a good conversation. So hit me up, and we can discuss it in about 2 weeks. Yeah, go ahead, Deb.
No, I was saying, this is okay. There are certain principles in life. Here's one: violence begets violence. Even in a war, right? Even in a war, I always say to my children, don't start a war.
No.
If somebody does something and you hit, and I'm not talking about not protecting yourself, because I got all kind of shovels if you come in at me and my children. I'm not saying don't protect yourself, but when I did martial arts, they say if your chi is strong enough, nobody messing with you.
You do martial arts, Deb?
Honey, you want to see my moves?
No, boy, look here. No, I ain't fooling with you. I'm getting that.
But the point of martial arts is so that you never have to hurt anybody.
Right.
It's about getting your chi so strong. Do you know the night? Let me tell you this story. Lord, I can't believe I'm telling you this story. The night before.
Go ahead, man.
The summer before I left the Bahamas, I
Hmm.
was laying, did I tell you the story? I was laying in my bed and I heard this woman screaming
No, you ain't tell me. Tell us.
in, in Love Frickin' Beach.
Hmm.
I was at Love Beach and I heard this woman screaming, help me, help me, help me. And let me tell you something. So much shit went down in my home. I made a vow that if I heard anybody, women or children screaming, you better watch out.
Hmm.
Wally boy's coming. So
Karate Deb coming for you.
I was laying in bed and in one old lady nightgown with no bra on.
Oh
I
Lord.
I said, I said to my husband, you hear that now? I could tell you, my husband really is a very, he will go to task, but he was so sleepy. He didn't really hear that like how I heard that. I
Hmm.
got out of that bed, went down the stairs, went next door, and there was a man choking a woman next door to me. Had her down
What?
on the couch with her screaming.
Oh.
I said to that man, you must be joking.
Yeah.
I told him, I said, you let her go and you let her go right now. That woman was
Yep.
shaking. She said, but my keys are over there. And I said to him, and I took my finger just like this, and I said, you stay right there and don't make me come in there.
What?
The woman went over. I just kept him like this with my
Uh-huh.
keys. I said, you try to. She went
Oh
and got her
shoot.
keys and walked right out of the house. I would
Really?
have loved to see him mess with me that night.
Oh flip. No man. It's a thing he didn't. It's a good thing he didn't.
And guess what? The same thing I found, down by where's the Greek district with that really nice store, that boutique, that store where they get the stuff from Bali down on is it East Bay? West Bay.
Mm.
Banked round the corner and saw these two police beating up this poor drunk man. I said, now wait a good minute. I said, y'all two need to be ashamed of yourself. Y'all are beating up on this. They said, miss, they told us we had to get him off of Bay Street. Well, I said, when did violence sort out anything? I said, I pity the day y'all stand before the Lord. Now let that man go. And I took that man, I said, you come over here.
Man, Deb, sound like your words. Powerful man, I need you to come talk to a couple people for me, man. Sound like when you
Listen,
talk to people, man, there's listen.
listen, the Legion, let me tell you something. Don't play when it's right. And the thing
Mm.
is, when you know something right, ain't nothing. You think if somebody came out, you have a daughter, right, Greg?
Yes, ma'am.
Let somebody come after your daughter, and the Delia wrote the note.
I tell you, I ain't going to jail for nobody, but she might be the one that I might have to. I might have to go to jail for.
But my
And
point is,
Kendora, I see you still making your long comments. Now, I appreciate your comments, but like I say, I already sent out the invite. Come on, join me in 2 weeks. Let's have a nice full discussion about it. Full discussion, because we're discussing some different aspects of parenting right now. I can't really respond to all of your comments. I would rather have a full discussion with you, and we could really have a good dialogue on that. So hit me up, Kendora. Let's do a show in a couple weeks.
and here's the thing. I think sometimes when I try to make sense of my life, Greg,
Hmm.
because I basically ended up in a type of Sandilands type setting from went madness out of what happened in my life, right?
Wow.
And I think what I've learned from my life, if I have to make any sense of my life,
Hmm.
I had such extreme violence that I know within my soul, without a shadow of a doubt, that it's not good to be violent to anybody.
Oh, trust me. Yeah, I realize because I come from a extremely violent household. I've spoken about it before. Both my parents were violent towards all of us as children. My father was violent towards my mother growing up. Like it was just a bunch of violence growing up, and maybe that's why I'm such an advocate against it. Because I saw what it did. I know what it did to me as a child, witnessing that, going through that pain and that suffering. I know what it did, and I would never, ever, ever wish that upon anyone, much less do it to my own child. There would never be a day where I would subject my child to that form of treatment. You know what I mean? And
And
unfortunately, a lot of people don't see it that way.
and I think if people have had sensible parents who didn't intend to harm them, who weren't like I call batshit crazy, I think it might be hard for them to grasp this.
Yeah, I think, like you said earlier, I think my parents were the good parents that this is all they knew. It happened to them. They went through it. They really loved us, but this is what they knew, and this is their experience, and this is what they thought would be effective. You know what I
I'm
mean?
telling you,
So I say I'm hard on the act, but not the people.
well, I still trying to recover from the people.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. But Deb, I want to ask you something before we go, because like I said, you're a big advocate for breastfeeding, like you displayed earlier. What do you feel about this now recent thing where we see these videos or pictures popping up on the internet with women breastfeeding in public, and it's now a question like, is this appropriate? Breastfeeding, we've gotten to the point where people are and in the comments, like, people are disgusted or saying that is inappropriate. What do you think about that?
Greg, people, they don't mind your tits being out when you're fucking partying.
Thank you very much.
Guess what? Listen, women's breasts have been sexualized. They used to be how you feed the world.
Right.
There used to be a time when that was not considered a sexual thing. That it's not that women didn't experience pleasure through them, but the primary role of one's breast was to feed their children. And I think we are so saturated with absolute ridiculous sexualization of everything. You could have anybody, they could go to church with their cleavage showing, but God forbid you see a nipple.
Yeah. But that's the thing. When they breastfeed, you don't really see the nipple in the baby mouth.
And guess what? If you did see a nipple, breasts are not their food. They're not sexual. You know what? If you go to almost all the indigenous cultures in the world, women sit around breastfeeding all the time. We get this fake self-right. I don't even have a word for it.
Yeah, that does happen. We got a lot of self-righteous people on.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous because you don't mind somebody showing all their boobs out every other freaking way. Why you could get upset when they feeding the child? That's superficial bullshit.
And that just goes to show you where we are now as a society, how far we've gone, how far off track we are. You know what I mean?
We don't mind porn. We don't mind porn. We don't mind like bikinis with only barely nothing. We don't mind laying off on the beach. We don't mind going to church with your cleavage. Why are you worrying about feeding the child?
This is what I'm saying.
Don't even get me. I say, if you don't like it, put a bag over your head. My child's eating.
Yes, it don't look. You know, why are you watching the woman? You know what I
mean? Hey, maybe they really scared of the power of the breast.
To be honest, I don't understand it. I don't understand the outrage of it. I don't understand how people disapprove of it. Like you said, it's the natural way we were created to feed our children. And now being natural, well, I guess this is the age where natural is a problem. I mean, you got people now, they got fake hair, they got fake bongi, they got fake breasts, everything fake now. So I guess people frown upon things that are natural.
Hey, guess what I say? We ain't here to entertain you. We feeding our children, so you need to roll out.
Yeah, I think that it's
go all the way out and go watch all the porn you watch anyway.
and sometimes I think it's the most perverted minds that have a problem with it. That's the crazy part about it.
Hey, Shakespeare said thou dost protest too much.
Man, listen, and I ain't gonna lie, this may sound a little bad, right? But I would encourage breastfeed more. You know what I mean? I don't mind you pull your breast out in public and feed your child.
Do it.
How? Me as a man got a problem with that? You got to be kidding me. I don't understand it.
But it's the same thing when you look at all the, and I don't mean this in a bad way, because there's difference between people who really experience God and religiosity. That's two different things. You ever met somebody who walks so deep with God, they won't offend nobody. They're the most merciful, kind. They ain't judging nobody. So what I'm saying is these are the same people talking about don't do this and don't do that. They're the most repressed person sexually. I wouldn't date a religious man for all the tea in China. Because, honey, when that, you know what a repressed sexuality is? Sex is like food. Don't be repressing that shit. They probably run in the porn rings.
Yeah, boy, look at me and you on the same boat because I can't deal with them kind of people either. I can't. I just can't do it. You know what I mean? It don't make sense. We ain't gonna get along. Because you're too judgy.
You're too. And guess what? Dear God, please save us from your followers. What did Jesus say?
Tell me.
Jesus said, "Thou shalt not judge." And in the same way that you judge has to fall right on your head.
And we got some of the most judgmental people in this society right now. Like it's ridiculous. It's like you would swear, and the internet has facilitated it, right? You would swear these people online have never done anything wrong in their entire lives, where they come from this paragon of virtue, just judging and casting aspersion upon people left, right, and center as though they are the perfect beings and
Well,
they can't do no wrong.
how you think Jesus got crucified? He's partying, hanging with all the yo. He's hanging, partying, drinking. Everybody judged him, and he got the axe. And if he came
That's
back,
how it is.
He'd get the axe. But what I will tell you, I know I'm shucking and jiving, but I will tell you that those are the people who are the most fearful and who have really, really done the least interior work in their soul. You know what I mean? Basically, they expend all their energy outward because they're so scared to go inward, scared of that nobody's home. Like, I don't even think they're aware of it.
No, but that's powerful.
I'm telling you, we are meant to, for the first 40 years in our life, we are meant to do an interior journey so that when we top over that hill, that's beautiful. Because let me tell you something, this life ain't what we thought it was going to be. This whole mythical idea of, we think we're here to party. Honey, I told you what I do for a living. Remember what I told you I do?
Tell me again. Tell the people.
I sit with people who are dying. And let me tell you something. For the people, I sit with people who are rich, successful, you name it. And honey, at the end of their lives, they are so terrified to be with themselves.
Wow.
Because they've done no interior work. And our soul's journey is to go in to our interior and grow our gardens. And I think really, to be fair to the people who aren't, they don't even know that's an option. And sometimes I think it's because if you could stay busy, rich, successful, moving, you know what I mean? You're not forced to do that work. But if you have the misfortune of not having to do that work till you 80, I pity you. Because then you're the scaredest, loneliest. You ever seen them old people scared and lonely and terrified?
All the time.
As much as the religious people like to say it's about heaven and hell, it's not about that. It's that you're frightened to be with yourself. Because you never knew that you were valuable. And it had nothing to do with what you did, what you earned. It had to do with your essence. You can imagine telling this old, beautiful tree, look at this tree. You had to earn that. It's same beauty that's in that tree. It's in all of us. It's been put in there. We are made in the image of God. We are meant to grow that seed into, and you can see these branches, they're straight. You know how much work it does to grow yourself a tree? That's why every time they cut down a tree, I weep. We are trees in our own right, and our journey is to grow and put our roots down and to put our arms up and embrace, like Maya Angelou say, reach out and shelter and embrace the whole world. But if we can't sit with ourselves, we ain't gonna be able to do that with nobody. We could be shriveled right up.
And I think that's key. A lot of people ain't happy with themselves,
but they don't know. They don't know. And to be fair to all the people, listen, I lived in the Bahamas for most of my life. That place is just people walking around with broken hearts and don't know what to do with it.
Yep.
And
I agree.
I don't want to sound like the paragon of anything. I'm the paragon of fucking recovered from bust up. Everybody who's walking around hurting somebody is what do you call that? Living life of quiet desperation.
And it's a lot of victims. It's a lot of hurt people walking around. Yeah.
A lot of hurt. But the good news is the day you get tired of that, you no longer have to be a victim. The day. And
but they have to be aware of it. Like that's the thing. A lot of people they're not even aware. They don't see themselves as victims because of their parents or whoever raised them.
I know. But here's my thing, Greg. Any of us that have the blessing of having just a twinkling of insight, we are there to give them a leg up.
Yeah, and that's what we do. That's what we try to do on the show. We try to present those different perspectives so that people know that other options are out there. You know what I mean?
And honey, there was a time I didn't know as well.
Yeah. Me, I trust me, we've all been there. We've all been there, but there has to be there was a enlightening moment or an awakening for all of us, and we just try to provide that with this platform to try and help other people get to that point of awakening where they can realize what's going on or what's taking place in their lives and how they can move forward and grow from those experiences.
And guess what? If I could recover anybody, if I told you my story, any hair on your body would fall off of your body.
Well, listen, boy, look here. We trust me. I'm sure we all have some stories to tell from our upbringing.
We are meant to rise. We are meant to heal and then to rise. Yeah. And who better to reach out than those who recovered?
Exactly. Because you've been there.
And to be like you said, our parents really didn't know. They were from a different generation. And there was even less knowledge back then than there is now.
Yes, that is true. And we do have more knowledge, like you said. We have access to more information. You know what I mean? With the internet and all this stuff, we have so much more access. So it's no reason to be, you know what I mean, falling back on these old things when you have so much more available to you. So you could almost give our parents a little bit more of a pass because they didn't have what we have available to us now. You know what I mean? And that's why I just hope more of us use what we have. We take advantage of this information that we have. Take advantage of these studies and these new research that we have available. Use it, put it into practice so that we can begin to heal what has been taking place in our society. All the destruction, all the violence, all the damage, all the abuse. We can now begin to heal, and we can start with our kids, and hopefully they carry on with their kids.
And do you know, for those who are, I don't know what word to use. I don't know who your audience is, but if you want to call it the spiritual or whatever metaphysical,
we got a mix. We got some intellectuals, we got some junglers, we got a mix. It don't matter.
Well, and guess what? We all, like Daddy Longlegs say, when you cut us, everybody bleeds.
Yes.
You gotta have him on your show. I gotta get him before he crosses over. Yeah, you just gave me an idea. But here's the thing. Here's my word to you. If you even have the inkling that your heart's broken, and you go do your journey to heal your heart, you heal 7 generations back and 7 generations forward. I don't know how that works. And even if you don't believe the 7 generations back, what about the 7 generations forward?
That's major.
That's powerful.
Very powerful.
This butterfly effect is very real and very powerful. Just Greg, you having, decided to say, hey, listen, let me see if I can figure this out and do this a little different. Exponentially, things that happen. So I encourage, I know I kind of got off topic. Let me just say real quick.
We just talking, man. We talking.
Yeah, but I'm saying if you can breastfeed. But the biggest thing is keep your children close to you for those 7 years. We could talk more about it. Keep them close. Keep them close and treat them like they are precious, because they are.
Yes.
And I think to really know how to interact with a child, you have to understand how they develop and what they're going through. That's a whole other show.
Yes, and that's empathy. And I want to thank you so much, Deb, even though, we had some issues in the beginning, but we got it sorted out, and you got here and you dropped some jewels, some good information. Listen, you even got me to look at certain things in a different light. I learned a lot, and that's what I like to do on these shows. Anytime I can learn, it's a success. Go ahead.
What? Elizabeth apparently also has a no-cry discipline book solution. She has a no-cry sleep, but she also has one called the no-cry discipline solution, which is really how to understand where children are at and how to work with their immature emotions.
And G.R. Wilson is asking what's the parenting method she was going to talk about. She talked about it somewhat. Tell us what it is again, Deb.
It's called, I'm going to put it here, attachment parenting.
Attachment parenting, G.R. Wilson. And she did go into it a little bit. She got on a little bit.
Parenting. The biggest thing is you treat them like they're precious for the first, you do, but how you treat them the first 7 years is how they will treat themselves and treat society.
I agree. And those are the foundation years right there. I know I normally hear 0 to 5, but 0 to 7, but those first 5 to 7 years are crucial.
The first 2.
Yeah.
They shape their nervous system. We got to talk about letting children cry. All these children that cry, let them cry. That actually completely trashes their nervous system. That's why a lot of these kids end up on drugs, because their system's so fried. They don't have these drug problems in these indigenous societies because the children aren't crying.
Shoot, I was doing that, didn't even know. But I was doing it for a different reason. I said, listen, if you want to cry, you go right ahead and cry. He ain't about it. When my little girl was a baby, see, she was. When I left out, she dropped. Pardon?
Colicky? Did she have colic?
I don't know what that is. You got to explain it to me.
That's where the tummy hurt.
No, it wasn't that. She wanted me to get up, right, and walk around with her. You understand? I said, listen, you can cry yourself to sleep. And you know how I did it? Because I did a process of elimination, right? I would see, okay, your pampers don't need to change. You ain't nothing hurting, because when I pick you up, you stop crying. So that means ain't nothing hurting. You just want me to stand up and walk with you, and I won't go sleep. But listen, sweet girl, you can lay here and you can cry because I can't sleep.
And guess what? That's why we need a village. It's very hard for two parents to raise a child, you know.
Yeah, and it's hard, like you say, it's hard for two parents. So can you imagine? And I think it's a ridiculously high number in the Bahamas of single parent households. Like we have, like, is it like 70% or something ridiculous like that?
Yeah.
Most children born in this society now are born to either single parents or
and I wish we could get, I mean, we probably can't reach the parents, but if we could get into these, like if we could get into these, like the end of elementary school, I would love if we could talk to these girls.
Yes.
But I know they have father hunger. I mean, it's such a, you know, it's such a big, they just want a dad. They want somebody to love them.
And listen, I could do a whole topic, a couple topics on that, because that's a real issue right there, Deb. That whole girls growing up without fathers. Listen, there's some common characteristics you can identify in women.
Especially with the mothers being both parents. A mother makes a horrible father.
Lord, listen, hold on, Deb. Say that again. You could piss plenty women off, but say that again.
No, but the thing is, it's because there's nobody there. I mean, the women are being, the mother is, a woman makes a terrible father.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, to be fair to the women, bless the men, but where are they? So because the mothers, think about our country. The mothers are doing all the heavy lifting. I know that's a general. I mean, I know we have a lot of good men, but for the most part,
right.
The whole men thing. Men are so broken and so.
Yes, and it's twofold, because you do have a lot of good fathers trying to be involved with their kids, and you have some spiteful mothers.
Oh yes.
Keeping them out of the children's lives to the detriment of the child.
Absolutely. So we do. I mean, that's a Pandora's box, but
yes, we have a whole lot of issues.
But listen, write that down with Elizabeth Pantley, the no cry discipline. That really helped me, because you know what it helps you. What her first chapter is on? The parents' anger and frustration.
Well, I Googled it. I put it in my Google search. Saw the audiobook come up. I'm going to go ahead and get that audiobook, and I'll probably listen to it in the mornings when I'm working.
It's very encouraging, because she doesn't beat anybody up. She talks about how hard it is to parent.
And see, Nelson, I can't believe you say that. Nelson say a woman say, hold on, let me pull it back up. A woman makes a terrible father. Wow. See, we're not used to women saying things like this. They are not meant to be fathers.
We're not meant to be fathers. And you can be both. You can do both well.
I agree.
And you probably, if you being a father, it's very hard to be a good mother.
Yeah, I agree. That is true. But Deb, listen, I got to have you come back. We got to do this again, because we didn't get to get you for the whole show. But we will do this again. You can let me know when you're free. Again. Well, I have 2 shows for the next 2 weeks planned, because I see Kendora has accepted. She said she will be there. So 2 weeks, Kendora, we can do that show on corporal punishment with children. We can do that show. Oh. Boy, look here, that Deb. I hope you tune into that one and comment.
I feel like that's gonna break my heart.
Hey, it might, but hey, sometimes some things you have to break some things in order to build new things on top of it, new better things. You know what I mean?
Guess what? My heart's so broken, ain't nothing left to break.
Oh Lord! But thanks again, Deb. I appreciate it so much. We can have you back again. Thanks for joining. Tell the family hello. Take care.
I will.
Yes, ma'am. All right, Deb. And people, if you want, please go ahead and share the video and join us on goundertherug.com. And you can go ahead and donate on the website if you feel like, if you have something to put little in the little pocket so we could get a studio and do shows and have more guests come in. Go ahead and put it in. Goundertherug.com. There's a donate tab right there. But go ahead, share the video. We need more people to be aware of these conversations. These are conversations we need to be having in our society, man. We can't be talking politics and all that stuff all the time. We need to focus on these types of issues.
And I'm not saying it's easy. And like I said, I hate parenting.
Yeah, it's rough. It is rough. I trust me.
But I love my kids. You know,
yes.
I gotta find a way.
That sound like a shirt. I hate parenting, but I love my kids. Boy, I like that. I need to put that on a shirt. That's a good shirt. Anyhow, Deb, thanks so much. Love you. Peace out.
Bye.
And thank you for tuning in, people. Until next week. Peace.